Oh, hello there everybody. I got a video request by Mr. Flatboy 2000, and I hope I'm saying that right, to make somewhat a tutorial, because when I first started out I found Blender the most complicated thing in the world, so to give some of you guys a head start, let's get started. So, what I'm going to do here is turn on a little display so you can see what on earth I'm doing. Yeah, okay. So, as we know, this is the start without a weird plane there. So we have default cube, we have a lamp, we have this camera here, and when you press F12, you render out your image, and that's pretty cool. So, because everybody wants to get started, what I'm going to do, in file up here, I'm going to open up a file which I called everything. I just found this on the internet by searching for rigs, and what I found here is that I was able to find pressure plates and literally every single block since a while ago. I found all these items here, I found a few rigs over here and stuff like that, and that looks pretty cool. And we can like animate all these rigs by going to like pose mode and moving them about, which doesn't seem to work for me. Okay, so enough into that. Let's start with some reference material which I created, and that is in my data. Right. So what I did here, I wasn't all that fond of everybody else's wigs, so I made mine, and I feel pretty proud about that. So, let's start with what's happening here. So we have a camera, and it's pointing towards our wig. He's just standing there, and this, and this, and this are all lights, and I have no clue why we have a massive amount of lights. Anyway, it's just to like make sure everything's bright and lightened up, otherwise you'd have a black image. So when you press F12, it's rendered, and you see me nice and happy over there. So let's get rid of that. Let's bring this up here. So let's start with animating then. So over here, we can bring up little windows, and by default I think we have timeline. Yeah, by default we have the timeline. And what the timeline does, let's see, how's the best way to word it? It's pretty much where you start animating. It's the basics of animating. And what we're going to do, we're going to animate the wig. So this bit here is called the armature, which is also known as the skeleton. And why are you in a weird place? Right, so we want to set it to local. So global means along these axes here. So we have the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis going up. But I want it local, so it's on the axis according to the player, so like that. And what was that? Oh, must do a jig. Okay, let's get on to the main thing. So he's just standing there, nice and casual, and let's animate him taking a little stroll. So in pose mode, we select everything by pressing block my screen. Okay, so select everything by pressing A, and what it does, it selects everything, and we want to press I, so it inserts a keyframe. So this green line here shows you that it's starting at number 0. That's when our animation is going to start. So we press I to insert a keyframe and change it to lock rot scale. So it keyframes the location, the rotation, and the size of it. So after you've done that, we move up in the timeline, or you can press one of these cool things. This thing allows automatic keyframing. So for example, if we don't do that, if we move up in the timeline, let's say 10 frames, and then move this up, it will have automatically keyframed that. So when you do this, it does that. And I think that's best to start off with. So let's make him do this. And let's make his arms move as well. So by using these things. This rig, I'm not sure if it's available, but it's easy to find this kind of stuff on the internet. So we can move this rig on back, and this forwards, and this back, this forwards, and then we play it like that. So we have a nice simple walking rig. Nice and simple. And when you want to render animation, over here it has an output. You want to set it, you can set it as images, but it'll do every single frame. So to start off, I think, let's see, MPEG or this H.264 thing is pretty good to start off with. Don't do AVI because that releases an insanely massive file, and I learned from the best. And you want to change the output, so I like putting things on my desktop, as you can see. So you change the output and then you press animation, and it will start to render it. But just having a person is pretty boring. We want a scene, right? So what we do, we open up another program, which is on my desktop. Okay. You open up a program called, well, I've tested out with these three, like MC-Obj, JMC2Obj, and Mindways, and I found Mindways the ultimate and the best. And I love it because you can choose all your terrain here. You can even export it for printing with a 3D printer, which is awesome. So where should we take a map from? Yes, a Christmas calendar by Minecraft PG5. Best of the best. So we pan around with left click and select with the right click. Which one should we choose? This one looks nice and happy. What do you think? Yes. So right click and select all this. Yes, just go with the default, do whatever it says. And I want to export it for 3D printing, even though it's not a 3D printer. When you want to save it as a type, it has to be an object file, and let's call it C. Go with default settings. Yeah, we don't want to know it's going to cost an insane amount of money. And we have it here, and we have it here, and there's all these little bits here. So, let's put my cursor into the center, and press space, and, okay. So, want to import an object file. And we're going to find it, which I put on my desktop, for it scene, and we press import. Just wait for that to load. Ah, it's fantastic, but it's sideways, and we don't want it sideways. So, what do we do? Oh no. Nah, doesn't want to rotate that, it doesn't. Okay, now it's being awkward. So I'll use a box select and select most of our stuff. Just select everything and casually rotate it 270 degrees. And our little person there is not surviving, so let's bring him out. Bring him out. So, let's see, where's our start? I don't know if the start or the end. Probably start. Okay, let's move the camera here and change all this lighting setting. So let's go to global. And let's, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I'm using Blender render, but most people use Cycles because it's the brand new rendering engine and it's pretty cool apparently. And they're gonna get rid of blender soon. So let's put our camera right in the stage there. And drag you all the way over here, some light. Okay. Now let's press F12 and take a look at how it goes. Fantastic. A few black bits there, which I don't like the look of. And I seem to have forgotten. Let's put on some environmental lighting. So that add lights everywhere, even when there's no light touching the light. So there we go, we've got a nice little scene, and let's put our person who's flying in the sky somewhat inside there. So press S to shrink him. And dude, get up. Okay, here we go. And he looks ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There we go. So it's pretty simple, just importing things like your Minecraft world is quite useful, and then having a rig, as I was saying, from a website somewhere. Where is it? Let's see. Oh no, where have you gone? Here we go. From this website, I was able to get this Blender file here, which is download there, and that's where you get your rigs and your stores, because making them, I mean, it's possible, it's doable very easily, but it just takes so long to make each one bit by bit by bit. So personally, I love this thing, and he told you about all these other ways of importing things, and for some reason it's not loading pictures. Oh, we've even got bows now, so anyway, back to our tutorial. Now, Mr. Fatboy 2000 also said something about yes, everything, when I told him what I should tell him about. Make a video of that, I mean. And one of the things on there was making fire. Now, everyone that I know loves fire. So, let's start with a new file to begin with. Can't believe I'm putting 2 tutorials into one video. And let's move you over here, because having you over there is absolutely ridiculous. What should we set fire to today? Block or block? Big block. Now, as some of you might or might not know, you have to go through all these texture things and have to turn on all these particle modifiers and crazy things like that. But a good old friend of mine showed me this. Quick smoke. And then you got explosion and fur and fluid, but we want smoke today. And let's make you gigantic. So the camera's inside our little box. Now over here we have a little thing here. Oh no, wait. Okay. Going too fast. First of all, you want to change the style if you want fire or stream, and we want fire. Now we can make you gigantic, and then we press play. Slowly but surely we are getting somewhat a bit of fire animation. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, now we just pause it there and press F12, take a look at our result, and be amazed. Once it's rendered, that is. In the meantime, we could check out other cool information stuff, like changing things such as color of flame. You can have a blue flame, and the inside to be green, the outside to be invisible. Yeah, fantastic. That is a fantastic looking frame here. Let's make our camera and press 0 to go into its view. Let's change your focal length so we have a bigger view of the world around us. Let's render that because we have changed the colours and wow, we have a green and blue fiery flame. And I'm pretty sure you could set this flame thing to literally to anything, so you get cool effects all around. So pretty simple making animations once you get started off, but at the beginning, taking things slowly and making little test runs and things like I did, and checking out the cool features. I mean, I could go on and on about the infinite features of Blender. We have modifiers here which do specific things. We have object data like UV maps and shape keys, which I think I used before once upon a time. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. And next time I make a tutorial, I'll probably tell you about compositing. And compositing is adding really cool effects. I think I have, there we go, really cool effects, such as this one, I think. So yeah, like having it glow like this is quite cool, and we use a thing called the compositor, and we add all this computing and that stuff. And I think I'll finish our tutorial off like that. So if you ever want any more information, or there's a bit of the tutorial you didn't quite understand, just send me a little notice or something, and see you next time. Bye.